What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Machiavelli Mills TV. So, look, y'all, to people in relationships, your significant other isn't responsible for your happiness. They're not, contrary to popular belief. I believe that they should contribute to your happiness, but they aren't responsible for it, right? And in today's relationships, I see it a lot. A lot of people tend to tie their happiness solely to their significant other, right? They feel that if they're not happy, they're not at their happiest inside, that it's more that their partner in a relationship could be doing to make them achieve that ultimate euphoric feeling, right? Maybe my partner could be doing more. I'm not really happy. It's something that my partner could be doing more to help me be in a state of bliss more. You know what I mean? And that is not always the case, man. In many instances, a person's significant other can be great, right? They could be a great partner. They could be making that person laugh on so many different occasions. They could be making them smile continuously, right? They could be a great person. They could be understanding. They could be loving. They could be so on and so forth, right? However, whether that person, the other person in the relationship is truly happy is totally out of their partner's control. It's totally out of their control a lot of times, right? You can do all the things that make you a great significant other, but whether or not that person chooses to be happy is on them. You know what I mean? And I know it sounds crazy, but it's something that's true, right? You know what I mean? Whether that person chooses to be happy is really up to them. Because to me, first of all, man, like another person cannot be the end all be all of your happiness. It just cannot be. You have to find happiness outside of your significant other, because in the event that you all go your own separate ways, where will your source of happiness come from at that point? If y'all were to part, where would you be? What would you be happy from? What would make you happy if your significant other were to part from you? If you're solely just putting all of your happiness on your partner, if you have no partner, then what? You're just gonna be an unhappy, miserable person? That doesn't sound like a logical solution to me at all, man. And even outside of the extreme, even outside of you going separate ways from your partner, right? What if y'all experience some rocky times, which all relationships do? They experience rocky times. A lot of people go through rocky times and hardship, right? If your happiness is solely tied to your significant other, you can easily go down a path of depression if you and your significant other aren't in a good space at that moment. You know what I mean? So I don't think, like, you cannot make one person the end all be all of your happiness, even if they are a huge part of your happiness. Even if they make you smile, they make you bright, they make you, you know what I mean, they fill you up with joy and so on and so forth, right? Those are great feelings to have, but you cannot make that person solely responsible for you being happy, man. Because at some point you have to realize that happiness comes from within you. You have to find things that bring you that state of joy, serenity, and elation that your relationship probably does, right? Whether it be a personal hobby, whether it be trying something new, whether it be accomplishing goals that you've been trying to accomplish for a long time, whether it comes from your faith or your spirituality. You got to find happiness from within yourself, because when you're personally, internally happy, then you can achieve, like, then everything could be flowing in motion like it's supposed to, right? You know what I mean? Now you're not so dependent on your significant other for happiness, and if y'all ain't in a good space, your whole life is in shambles, because that happens a lot. I see that especially with younger people. I'll notice, you're okay. I'm only happy if me and my significant other, I'm only happy as far as how my significant other makes me feel. And yes, that's a big part of happiness, but it just shouldn't be the end all be all. Some people aren't happy with themselves. A lot of people aren't happy with themselves personally, so they only just tie their significant other to somebody else. You gotta find your source of happiness. You know what I mean? You gotta find it, whether it's spending time with family or whatever. But you gotta be happy internally in order to reach the heights of being happy. You know what I mean? You gotta learn how to be happy on your own time. That's an important thing. Being happy outside of a relationship, period. Like that is a huge thing, man. Like I just say this, man. Like romantic relationships and friendships can contribute to your happiness, but your friends and family or your significant other shouldn't be the ultimate gauge of your happiness at all. It just shouldn't be. And that's why you see people, I've heard people, instances of people when they break up from each other, the person goes, like I said, goes down depression, even contemplate suicide, and so on and so forth. And it's not a funny thing at all. It's a very scary thing, and it's a realistic thing. But you have to find your happiness outside of individuals. You got to find something else that will help elevate you to that height of euphoria the same way. You know what I mean? Like, I find it really, I think it's wrong to place your happiness in the hands of one person. You know what I mean? And because your partner will feel the weight of that. Oh, I'm not happy. If she's not happy or he's not happy, they feel like I'm not doing enough. I could be doing more. I could be doing more. And they're doing perfectly fine. They're doing great. But they start running themselves crazy because they're feeling, oh my God, my partner is really not happy somehow, some way. So they're trying to figure out ways. They start jumping through 40 hoops. They're trying to figure out a way to appease their partner when it's like it's nothing that you're doing personally. It's just the person that you're dating is just not a happy person. They're not a happy person. They haven't found some type of common ground. They haven't found an alternative, something outside of you to drive their happiness. And that's a problem, right? People always say you got to love yourself before you can love somebody else. And that's the truth. That's the truest thing I've ever heard. You got to be happy with yourself and what you're doing in order to really give happiness, or in order, not give happiness, but in order to jump into some other romantic relationship. You know what I mean? Because if you're not happy within yourself, you're going to be dating somebody, you're going to make them feel like, oh my God, it's something that you ain't doing. And they could be great. I'm not speaking to people that's terrible partners, people that's great partners. Your partner could be great, and they could start feeling the pressure of, damn, I'm trying everything and this person is not happy, and they're not happy no matter what. Even though you're making them laugh, you're making them smile, you're doing great spontaneous things with them, you're giving them, you're satisfying all of their love languages, you're checking the boxes, but they still ultimately are walking around soaking, complaining about this, that, and the third, or whatever. It's just like, man, they just not a happy person. You know what I mean? Some people gotta be happy within themselves first. You can't be the driving force of their happiness, man. You cannot, because at some point it's gonna show. No matter what you do, they probably still gonna be in a state of disarray, in a state of just, I don't know, like a state of unhappiness, you know, and it's nothing that you can do. It's nothing that your significant other can do to bring you out of that. You gotta help yourself elevate out of that, man. Like, it's just, a lot of times I just see too many relationships. People are just putting their happiness solely in the hands of another person. That ain't how that work. You got to be happy yourself, and then the person that you love should contribute to that. Right? That's just how I feel, man. Y'all let me know if y'all think any differently than me. But I just feel like that because I just seen so many people contemplate suicide and all of that because they place their happiness into all of their happiness into the wrong person. Oh, I'm not the wrong person. I'm sorry. They place all of their happiness into one person, not within themselves. They don't have accountability for their own happiness. You got to take accountability for your happiness. You got to figure out what makes you happy inside, what makes you feel a state of elation. You got to figure that out. You can't blame you not being happy on your significant other, because a lot of times you would sit down and think, damn, they check a lot of the boxes, that every box that you need. It's just that internally you driving yourself crazy because you think you're just not driving yourself crazy. You driving your significant other crazy because you just not happy within yourself. Like I've seen so many people dating people, and the person is a great significant other, but it's just like, man, that person is happy because they don't want to be happy. They don't want to be happy, or they're not trying to find their own place of happiness. You got to find that, and then get in a relationship, you know, and then love somebody else. Because if you don't love yourself, and you with somebody else, it's like, damn, that's a huge burden or a huge load for somebody else to carry. Too much responsibility on another person to just be the end all be all of your happiness. That ain't how that's supposed to go, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this subject. Leave the comments in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out. Peace.